So NBC Sports, Matthew Berry talked about something interesting. He said, thought it was interesting that when Zach Taylor was asked about his wide receiving room beyond Chase and Higgins, he made a point of praising Yoshi and Chuck Sizzle and didn't even mention Jermaine Burton. Does he even make the team this year? And we also heard Duke Tobin talk about the situation with Jermaine Burton. He said that he needs to want it himself more than we needed him to want it, right? Like pretty much he needs to want to be better himself, and it's like a self struggle here where he needs to be better from just wanting to be better. Lordy, I cannot speak. Anyway, is he guaranteed to make the team? No. But who would replace him? Now, obviously, I don't think we're going to draft a receiver. Okay? I just don't think we're going to. Especially if we sign T. Higgins. We're not probably drafting a wide receiver in this upcoming draft. We only have 6 picks total. If we're not going to draft a receiver, I mean, are we going to, theoretically speaking, sign somebody? Probably not. Like, we're probably not signing anyone at the receiver position. We're not going to draft anyone. And we're going to most likely have 6 receivers going into the upcoming season. You know, and these are the 6 receivers we'll probably end up having. So I think he'll make the team just by the fact that we're going to have 6 receivers. Like, you're not going to go into a season without 6 receivers, especially when it comes to, you look at the injury history of T. Higgins, you know, that's going to be something you're going to always want to have an extra guy in there for that fact. But really, there isn't anyone else you're going to go out there and pick up and bring in. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to say, hey, we understand the problem is Jermaine Burton. We understand he is a problem. But because of the circumstances right now, he's going to be on this team, and we're just going to hope things get fixed. Now, if you're going through training camp, preseason, and Jermaine Burton still is a problem and still has issues, then yeah, you're probably going to look out there and see if you can get somebody else. But I just don't see the plans right now is to add another receiver. We need to work on this offensive line. We need to work on this defensive line. We need to work on this secondary. Like, there's so much we have to work on that Jermaine Burton is right now the lucky duck, because he is going to be able to get away with murder at this point. It's a metaphor. It's not like me physically saying that. It's a metaphor, because we just can't focus on him. We don't have the time or the luxury to focus on Jermaine Burton. We have to focus on everything else and use our draft picks smartly here. So, yeah, I think he'll make the roster based on, just we can't focus on the guy. We have so much stuff we have to focus on. Now, if we somehow didn't get T. Higgins signed, and let's say we ended up trading T. Higgins, then, yeah, there would definitely be a spotlight on the receiver position. But again, even then, I mean, we would obviously have to draft or sign a receiver. I'm not sure, how much more we would do than that. So again, like I said, there's definitely a situation if we don't get T back. But if we get T back, there's just so much other things we have to focus on. I don't think we're going to really target the receiver position. So I think he'll make the roster. And now keep in mind, there will be undrafted receivers who also try out for our team every year, as they do. So will they play better than Jermaine Burton? Potentially. You also got to keep in mind, Jermaine Burton was a 3rd round draft pick, so he does have some draft capital and some higher draft capital put into his name. So you, as a team, usually you don't want to just cut a 3rd round draft pick. A lot of teams will keep them for a very long time. Deontay Smith, for example, he's still on the roster, and he's a 4th round draft pick, right? Jackson Carman was on the roster for a good period of time because he was also a higher draft pick. When you put some draft capital into a player, it's harder to just accept the fact that that player is a bust and cut them, especially if they were a higher draft pick, because you kind of look at it like, okay, well, maybe we can figure this out, right? You always try to make the best out of nothing. So Jermaine Burton is in a very luxury position, but he does have to get his crap together. He does have to get his eggs in the, eggs in a row. I'm like using 1,000 metaphors today. I don't know why, but he has to get his crap together. That's pretty much what it is. So hopefully he does, and hopefully he gets it figured out. But as long as he doesn't do anything else off the field, he should make the 53-man roster in the end. But again, it really comes down to, is someone else going to be better on this roster to take over his job? And I don't think there will be at this moment in time, outside of the other 5 guys. And Chuck Sizzle is a glorified punt kick returner. He's not even a receiver if you really think about it. He's really just we have 5 receivers. Chuck Sizzle isn't even the guy. He's not a receiver. And Isaiah Williams, there's always a chance he ends up not being on the roster. Not being on the roster at all. Maybe he ends up getting signed by somebody else. So keep that in mind. See you guys in the next one, though. Peace.